to another episode of the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Let's get into it. So, everybody knows that I am a diehard Cowboys fan. And obviously, Dak Prescott is the quarterback of America's team. But Dak Prescott isn't just a quarterback. He also has some experiences with depression and suicide. Back in 2020, when we were in the scamdemic, Dak Prescott dealt with depression, and he also lost his brother to suicide as well. Okay. So Dak Prescott had that going on, and he became an advocate for suicide prevention. For those of you who are big football fans, the Cowboys also bought in a defensive tackle named Solomon Thomas on a 2-year deal. He also works with Dak Prescott on suicide prevention stuff, okay? And so those two working together, not just as teammates on the field, but teammates off the field for suicide prevention is going to be something pretty good. And so I saw something that Dak did. He went to a school and he talked to kids about the importance of suicide prevention. Here it is. Hold on. Let me make sure I have the volume up right. There it goes. Okay, here it goes.
Talk. Your thoughts, those things that you're feeling, you're not alone. I promise you, I felt them. Your friends have felt them. Your parents have felt them. It's on us, though, to talk about them, to understand how to get solutions. We go through things in life to make sure other people don't have to. Unfortunately, me, Brad, our families, what we've been through is very unfortunate, but that's why we're here. We're using our why. We're using our purpose. We're using our adversity as our purpose, right? We're not going to allow that to define us. We're not going to allow those moments to define their lives. And so we ask you today is continue to spread hope, spread love throughout this day, and not just here on campus. When you go home, in your neighborhoods, through your friends, on social media. I challenge everybody. I've said a lot of people today, make someone else's day. Everyone.
Okay, so that was just a small clip of what he said to kids about suicide and suicide prevention, and so I made it very well known that I attempted suicide when I was younger, and I was in that same dark place, and so I'm gonna give y'all a bit of a story. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to give you all the cliff notes. Okay, but I'm gonna try to include the important parts. I lost my train of thought about what I wanted to talk about after I tell his story. Okay, so maybe that thought will come back to me while I'm telling it. Okay. Anyway, so when I was younger, me and my friend. Okay, I call it the best no I have ever gotten. Okay, the best no that I've ever gotten from God. Okay, so when I was younger, me and my friend, we went to our first strip club. Okay, we went to our first strip club, and it was okay. Um, it was okay. So we go to our first strip club together, and actually, um, that first strip club we went to, we didn't go back to it because it was nasty. Um, anyway, point being, okay, we went there and got a couple of dances or whatnot. Then this woman comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you want a F?" I'm like, "Huh?" She's like, "Hey, do you want a F?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I said, "Sure, yeah." So she says, "Well, you're gonna have to give me such and such, and you're gonna have to give me this much." Then I went to my friend. I said, "Hey, can you give me such and such?" He's like, "No." I said, "Hey, can you give me such and such?" He's like, "No." Went back and told the woman. I said, "Nah, I don't want an F." He's like, she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, okay. And that was the greatest no that God has ever given me, because who knows what would have happened, okay, if we had effed. All right. And I am so glad that God stepped in that situation and said, no, no. So, um, and why am I telling this story? This is a part of the dark place that I was in. Okay. And the one thing that I wanted when I was in a dark place was connection. Okay. I primarily wanted connection. Um, and so, um, any woman that I got with, I thought it was automatic connection. Okay. I thought it would work out like that. Okay. And, again, being in a dark place, right? Being in a dark place that I can remember the first time I met someone. Um, I went to her apartment to pick her up, and we had planned on going to Riverside Drive, Tom Lee Park. We were planning on going to Riverside Drive and to walk down there. Um, then we get to Riverside. Then we get to Tom Lee Park, and it starts to rain. We get to Tom Lee Park, and it starts to rain. Yeah, that's what happened. We got to Tom Lee Park, and it started to rain. And so yeah, I think that was God right there telling me that, nah, not gonna work out. And I can remember I showed up at her apartment unannounced, and she was angry. She was angry. And I felt like the biggest fool in the world. Showed up at her, showed up at her apartment unannounced, right? And so, but when you're in a dark place, yeah, I was just craving connection, and I was craving connection and wasn't hitting it. and obviously that led to a suicide attempt. I was not successful at it. And I can remember also picking a blade up off the ground, and this is a few years ago. Picking one of those small triangular blades that they sell in the hardware stores, right? I just happened to find one on the ground, and I looked at it, and I looked at it for a few seconds. I looked at it, and then I picked it up. Then I put it in my pocket. I put it in my pocket, and I eventually put it in my bag. Put it in my gym bag. I was about to attempt again. Yeah, I was about to attempt again. I was close. I kid you not, I was close. But then told my friend about it. Told my friend and her husband about it, who lives in Nashville. They were like, "You got to get rid of that blade." I said, "Okay." A few days later, they asked me, "Have you gotten rid of that blade yet?" I'm like, "No. I've just had so many things on my mind that I completely forgot that it was in my bag." Okay, that when I get focused on certain things like work, lifting weights or whatnot, I forget, and I completely forgot that blade was in my bag. Okay, so then she said, "I want video evidence of you throwing away that blade." I said, "Okay." So I took a video of me. Throwing away the blade. I sent it to her, and she was relieved. Okay, and my friend and her husband, they were relieved that I threw away that blade, because I think it's safe to say they were worried about me for several days. Okay, they were worried about me for several days. All right, and so yeah, and I have not regained my train of thought. What I wanted to speak about after I told these stories, what was I going to talk about? Honestly, I can't even remember. Now, see, it's probably going to come back to me when I end this video. So that's it. And that's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am out of here. Peace out. May God bless you all.